People are always trying to smuggle things into the U.S. From the southern border specifically is where we find a vast majority of things that the U.S. does not want smuggled in being smuggled in. And one of those things is ammo. Why somebody would smuggle ammo into the U.S. is a great question, and we'll talk about that at the end of this video, but let's talk about the ammo being smuggled into the U.S. In 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, what you looked at was an average of about 9,000 rounds of ammo being smuggled into the U.S. annually. They keep track of all those bullets. And if you go back and you look at the numbers, it's like 7,382 this year, 9,620 that year, 9,200 this year. And ultimately, it's averaging about 9,000 rounds a year over the last 4 years. In 2024, now before I give you the grand total, let's just say last week, which is the reason I'm making this video, last week, one vehicle had 11,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39 AK rounds. That's just one stop. And as a total in 2024, there's 98,000 rounds of ammo being smuggled into the U.S. from Mexico. Now, what is going on? Because that's a huge increase. Now, one might argue maybe they're better at looking at cars, but the reality is with this particular one where they caught the 11,000 rounds, what they do is they kind of scan your car and they could pick up some oddities there, and they picked up an oddity there, and they found in the quarter panels 11,000 rounds of ammo just stuffed and hidden in these quarter panels. Now, the rest of the 98,000 rounds have all just popped up since January of 2024. A vast majority of these being in the 7.62 by 39 category. So I want to take a moment and talk about, well, why are these rounds being smuggled into the U.S.? All right, so let's start with 7.62 by 39 ammo is originally a Russian round. It's originally a Russian round. Now, obviously, we had banned Russian imports of ammo as soon as that Ukraine war started. But there's not a lack of 7.62 by 39 ammo, one might argue. It's not as abundant as 5.56. So when it comes down to it, I do not believe that people are smuggling these rounds into the United States to be sold. That's not a good business model. I mean, if you really want to sell ammo in the United States, go buy ammo in bulk in the United States and sell it for a little more expensive in the United States, no problem. So it's not a business. I don't argue it's not a business, but it's not to make money necessarily. I believe that these rounds are being smuggled into the U.S. is to arm certain people that could not otherwise arm themselves. Because what you're dealing with in the U.S. right now is, A, you have credit card companies tracking all of your ammo purchases. You have many, and they'll red flag you too, so all that's being tracked. So if you went out and you bought 11,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39 ammo, you're going to get red flagged. You're for sure going to get red flagged. And it's going to then, what the Visa, MasterCard, American Express, what they do then is they will give that alert to your local sheriff, and then the sheriff will do with it what they wish. Throw it in the trash, investigate, I don't know, whatever your local sheriff does. But beyond that, if they're scanning your ID, then that is being tracked as well. And really and if a lot of times too, like they have those ammo vending machines as well, and that's like scanning your face and stuff. Like just go into mom and pop, use cash, that kind of thing. But, I also don't think it's for people who just are going hunting, they just need some rounds to go shooting, maybe stocking up, that sort of thing. I don't think it's for them either. I really don't. I believe it's for arming and giving ammo to individuals who couldn't otherwise do that. So this guy who's smuggling in 11,000 rounds, and again, I'm speculating a lot of this. I just don't think it's a good model to sell. I don't see the profit there. So it's obviously got to go to somebody who needs it. Let's put it that way. I believe that these 11,000 rounds specifically was going to a person who needed 11,000 rounds for whatever reason. Maybe he's arming other people. Maybe, I don't think he's going to sell it again. I think it's for arming people. 11,000 rounds of ammo. And again, go back, 98,000 rounds total since January. So I believe each of these big bulk runs have targets in mind. This 11,000 rounds is going to this guy. This 6,000 rounds is going to that guy. This sort of thing. That way, if I am in the U.S. and I need, and I'm not I'm not essentially, I don't want to put anything on immigrants. Let's put it that way. What I'm saying is if I was in the U.S. with ill intentions and not from the U.S., and I needed ammo, this is how I'm probably going to get it, if that makes sense. So obviously people are in the U.S. with ill intentions. I think people are in Mexico with ill intentions. I think people are in Canada with ill intentions. I think people are in every country in the world with ill intentions that aren't from that country. I just think this ammo is arming somebody in the U.S. or somebody's with ill intentions. Maybe it's just because they feel they need it for self-defense. I don't know what their intentions are, but they clearly can't get that much ammo without raising red flags. So they're getting it from their buddies in Mexico, and now it's being smuggled into the U.S. across the border. Jumping up essentially from an average of 9,000 rounds a year to an average of, and we're not even done with 2024 yet, but now we're about 100,000 rounds in just 1 year. Just kind of let that sink in a little bit. So there you go, man. Any thoughts or insights you might have on this, definitely put it below. Do want to take a moment, since most people watch the channel, hey, they're not subscribers, click that subscribe button. It greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests. So please don't ever, ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.